welcome to a new video by Irina's Crochet Corner. In today's video I'm gonna show you how to do this nice easy headband. The size of this headband fits a 3 to a 6 month old, and it's made up of 100% cotton. I used Bernat Handicrafter cotton. If you have any leftover yarn from any other project, you can use it. It doesn't use much of yarn to make this project. Two more points that I would like to highlight before we start is that we're gonna be learning the reverse single crochet stitch. This is what makes up the band, and this flower is made or crocheted while we are working. It's not attached after we do the band. So let's get started. For the purpose of the video, I'm not going to use the Bernat Handicrafter cotton yarn, just because I want to show you the stitch like clearly. So I'm going to use a bulkier yarn, but again, feel free to use any 100% cotton that you have at home. So I'm going to start by chaining stitches. So now that I'm using a bulkier yarn, I'm going to use less number of stitches to start with. So again, it depends on the age of the kit that you're gonna use the headband or you're gonna make the headband for. So if you decide to even make a headband for yourself, then you just measure the circumference of the head, and accordingly just chain a corresponding number of chains. With this project, you don't need a specific number of chains to start with, so you can start with any number that fits your size. I'm not even counting my chains. As I said, all I need is just something to fit the head, the size of the head for which I'm working this headband. Okay, so let's say I'm gonna stop right here. This fits the size that I want. I'm gonna go into the first stitch right there. Make sure that your chain is not twisted and it's like all the right sides of the chain is facing up, and then you turn it like that, and into the first chain you go in and you do a slip stitch. So a slip stitch is just you yarn over and you pull through the 2 loops, and this is how you join your circle. Now to start the first row, we're gonna chain 1, and here is how we do a reverse single crochet stitch. We go into that first stitch where we join the circle into. We're going to go into that stitch again, yarn under. So I'll get the yarn under my hook. In a regular single crochet stitch, we yarn over. In this stitch, we yarn under. So I get the yarn under my hook and I pull through 2 loops on the hook, then I yarn over and finish the single crochet stitch one more time into the next stitch right there. There it is. Yarn under, pull a loop, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops one more time into the next stitch, yarn under, pull a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And we're gonna finish this round doing the same sequence. Yarn under and then yarn over, yarn under, over. So I'll meet you at the end of this round to show you what we're going to do in row number 2. So I've come to the end of row 1. I haven't joined the 2 stitches yet because I wanted to show you a new trick here on how we can join like using the invisible joining method. So this is the last stitch that I did for this row, and this is the first stitch for the round. Sorry, I keep mixing saying rows and rounds, but well, in that case it's round. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into that first stitch there from back to front, and I'm gonna pull that loop. I'm gonna put it on my hook right there, and I'm gonna pull this loop backwards. If we look right there, this gives us an invisible joining line. You cannot really tell where the round starts and ends, except if you look at the beginning of the foundation chain row. Okay, now I have the 2 sides joined. I'm gonna chain 1, and into that same stitch I'm gonna go in there and start doing my reversed single crochet stitch again. So for this project, if you're using a cotton yarn, worsted weight, so size 4, I would say, like similar to this one, I made 5 rows in total. For this yarn that I'm using right now for demonstration, well, if I do the 5 rows, it's gonna be thicker and a little bit too big for like a 3 to 6 months old. So I'm gonna just do 3 rows only. So in this second row, we're gonna do the flower, so it's midway between the edges. Okay, so I decided just to switch the camera position to give you a better viewing of what we're gonna do to make the flower. So I decided to make my flower into that stitch. So what I'm gonna do is, into that stitch I'm gonna do 2 half double crochet. If you haven't done a half double crochet before, what we do is we yarn over, we go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through. We have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through the 3 of them at once. I'm gonna do another one in there, so yarn over into that same loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through the 3. Now I'm gonna start making the flower. These 2 half double crochet stitches are the base for the flower. So I'm gonna chain 1, and into that space here, right there, I'm gonna do my first petal. So I'll do my stitches around that post and into that space. I'm gonna show you how right away. So I'm gonna yarn over, go around the post and into the space between the 2 posts, pull a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, 3 loops, pull through the 3 loops, sorry. One more time, yarn over, again into that space and around the post, pull a loop and yarn over and pull 3, pull through the 3 of them. Yarn over, chain 1, and then go back into that same space around the post and do a slip stitch. So this is my first petal done. One more time, I'm gonna do the same sequence in the same space around the same post. So chain 1, yarn over, go in there, pull a loop, yarn over and pull through 3 right there, Again, yarn over, into the loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through the 3 of them, chain 1, and back into the loop for a single crochet, for a slip stitch. So look there, here are my 2 petals. Okay, now we're ready to make the 3rd petal. Just gonna show you where we're going right there. Okay, so this is the other half double crochet, and this is the space that we're working in. I'm gonna turn my work so this is like kind of upside down here. Now I'm gonna do my 3rd petal by working into that loop, that same loop, but coming out from that side there. Okay, so kind of coming out from the previous row. Okay, so let's see how we're gonna do that. So I'm gonna chain 1, yarn over, go into that hole there, and then out from the base, yarn over and pull a loop and finish my half double. Again, yarn over, go into the center, out at the base, yarn over and finish it, and then chain 1 and go back and out and do a slip stitch. Here is my 3rd petal formed. Now one more time. Now the last 2 petals we're gonna be working them on that post, the post of the other half double crochet that we did. So we're gonna do what we did here, we're gonna repeat it around that post. So I'm gonna chain 1, yarn over, into the center and around the post. Oops. Here, yarn over and pull through and finish my half double crochet. One more time, and then chain 1 and go back and do a slip stitch. One more time, we're going to squeeze the 5th petal, so chain 1, go in there and do your half double twice, and then chain 1 and go in there again and do your slip stitch. We can just squeeze our stitches to the side here. Okay, and then after we finish our 5 petals, we chain 1. You can put a stitch marker into that stitch if you want, because in the next row we're gonna need to see it properly so we don't miss it. So you can definitely add a stitch marker in here if you need to. But this is how my flower looks like for now. Again, I'm using a bulky yarn, so I have this big hole in the middle. If I'm using, or if I show you what I did with the other yarn, the Bernat Handicrafter, well, this is a worsted yarn, so it's a size 4. The hole is not really showing in there. Okay, so at the end it's not really obvious there, but again I have this hole in here because of the bulky yarn that I'm working with. Okay, now I'm done my 5 petals. I need to finish the remaining of my row, so I'll go into the next stitch, which is right there. I have to push my flower a little bit to the side so I can expose the stitch, and I'll go in there and do my reverse single crochet stitch, and I'm gonna like finish my row the same way we started it, and I'll meet you at the end of the row to show you how to do the invisible join again. Okay, so here I am at the end of row number 2. I'll do the invisible joining again. So this is the first stitch of the round. I'll just go in there from back to front right there, and then take that loop, put it on my hook, adjust the loop a little bit, and just pull it to the back. Okay, and then chain 1 and start row number 3. So I'm gonna chain row number 3 until I reach like near to the where the flower is, to show you how we're gonna deal with that part, and then we'll take it from there. So I'm getting closer to the flower position. I have 3 more stitches to work. So I'll go in, yarn under, finish my single crochet, in, yarn under, and finish it, and in and yarn under and finish my stitch. Now what we're gonna do behind the flower is, remember that chain that we did before we continued our row? We're gonna go into that chain. It's right there. So it's not that easy to identify. Sometimes you have to push your petals a little bit to the side so you can expose it. That's why I said you can put a stitch marker in there so you can easily identify it if you want to, but again, it's optional. So you go in there, so you go in there, under, yarn under, pull through a loop, and you finish the stitch. Okay, and then we go to the next stitch right there, go in there, yarn under, and finish your stitch. Now I'm gonna work till the end of row number 3, and I'll show you again how to do the invisible stitch for the last time, and I'll see you then. Okay, so here I am at the end of row number 3, and one more time we're gonna do the invisible stitch, sorry, the invisible joining method. So into the first stitch from back to front, pull that loop, put it on the hook, and pull it backwards, and then just pull that there, and adjust the flower. This is how the band looks like at the end. I'm just gonna pull this out, and here it is. Again, if you're gonna be doing this band with worsted yarn, then you're gonna replace the 3 rows with 5, and you will do the flower on the 3rd row. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.